got a bit of pop trivia for you. You might not know this. You know Rihanna? You know Rihanna? Yeah. She has insured her legs for $1 million. And I don't really know why, because I'm pretty sure she's a singer. Yes? Yes, thank you. And I'm almost certain you can do that sitting down. I mean, her legs aren't proper anyway. They don't meet at the top or anything. My mum would say about her, she couldn't stop a pig in an alleyway. Just for the record, I could totally stop a pig in an alleyway. Stop it, stun it, put it in me fucking freezer. I do have a good relationship with my mum. You know, sometimes in comedy you laugh at things because it's familiar, because it's a shared experience. Sometimes you laugh because you're just glad you're not me. I think this next thing might fall into the latter category. See if this has happened to anybody else. Whenever I'm on the phone to me mum, it always makes me need a poo. Give us a woo if that's happened to you. If you're good. I've looked into it. It's a closeness issue. It means that me and those people who wooed, we love our mums more than the rest of you lot love yours. I love my mum so much it makes me shit. Try getting that on a balloon on Mother's Day. Thank God for Moonpig. It's quite satisfying to see that my parents haven't changed in the intervening 30 years. They came to stay with me a few months ago for the weekend, and on the Sunday night, they're packing up the car to go home. And my mum has what she calls her pretty woman bags, which, you know, like the cardboard shopping bags as opposed to plastic ones. I'm glad that I know that's what she calls them, because a month before that I'd been on the phone to her and she said, I've had a proper pretty woman day. And I thought, I hope you've been shopping and not just sucking off businessmen. She's retired, she's got a lot of time on her hands. But Pretty Woman for me is one of those films. I think we've all got one of those films where even if you've got the DVD, which means technically you could watch it any time you liked, if it's on the telly, you're watching it. And that's one of mine, and it was on not too long ago on ITV2 +1 × 4. And you know that scene, even if you haven't seen the film, you know the classic scene where she goes back into the shop that wouldn't serve her, and she says, "You work on commission, big mistake, huge." And I thought that film would have been totally different if she'd been a size 18, wouldn't it? Because I'm a size 18 and pretty much guarantee I couldn't get in any designer clothes. I worried about getting stuck in the fucking cubicles, let alone the clothes. She'd have gone back in and gone, "You work on commission?" "Well, I've ordered some things online. And I don't know if they're going to fit. So I bought a handbag to cheer myself up. And I filled it with fucking Maltesers." So my mum was putting her Pretty Woman bags in the back seat of the car. My dad said, "Put them in the boot." And she said, "Well, I've put them in the back seat." He said, "Put them in the boot." "Well, why can't I just leave them in the back seat?" He said, "If you leave them in the back seat and I've got to slam my brakes on, they'll take the top of your head off. And you'll not be able to wear your bonny dresses that you've just bought because you'll be dead." And I looked at my mum and she went, "If that happens, the receipts are in the bag, just take them back." And I think one of the reasons I'm not very good with kids, I was never around them as a child. I was always the youngest. My mum had my sister, then she had me, then she had her tubes tied. And when she went to the hospital for the appointment, the nurse said, "Are you sure?" And she said, "Yeah, I've had a chat with my husband. We only wanted 2, we've got 2, like to go ahead with the procedure." And the nurse said, "What if one of them dies?" And my mum was like, "It's not like I just want any 2. Well, we've got a set of bunk beds. It seems a shame to waste one." When I was in Australia, I missed my family terribly, and I used to Skype them once a week. You know this thing of Skype where you can see each other through your computer screens? It makes home feel that little bit closer, I think, if you can see people's faces as well as hear their voices. And they'd sit around their computer, my mum, dad, and my sister, in a semicircle once a week. And at the end of every call, they'd lean in and kiss the webcam. Which was lovely, but terrifying the first time it happened. Like, I know my sister knows about computers, I know my dad used to work with computers, but I'm pretty sure my mum doesn't really know how it works. I know that she definitely doesn't know that I can still see her face, even when I'm not talking to her. Because I'd talk to my mum, then I'd move on to my sister, and I'd go, "How's work?" And my mum would do this. Turned 39 this year. I'm not worried about turning 40 next year. I'm not worried about getting older at all. And I think that's because I have good friends in their 40s, 50s, 60s. My parents are sort of late 60s, early 70s. And they all seem to be having quite a nice time. What I see as my future is not a scary one. My parents have this thing that I think happens to a lot of people when they retire, is all of a sudden they can see their friends a lot more often. They can do hobbies they've never had time for. And they're so busy, they think to themselves, how on earth did we fit work in? Which must be a lovely state of affairs, mustn't it? My mum was showing us her diary because she said it was chock-a-block. She said, look at this. She said we were going to go and see Oliver the Musical that day, but we can't because we forgot we had Swan Lake booked in at the Empire. She's only this tall. She looked up at me with this face that I adore and she went, I haven't got time to die. I said, I don't think that's how it works, Mum. Just the Grim Reaper standing behind and she's going, I can't do October. I can't do November. I want to see Tony Bennett in November. And the Grim Reaper's like, Tony Bennett, I've been after him for years. But for the last 16 or maybe even 17 years, my mum and dad's annual holiday has been 1 week in Edinburgh. They love the city, they have friends there, they go, they have a smashing time, they come home, all good. But for some unknown reason, 2 years ago, they decided to book a cruise. And I said to me, Mum, that's very adventurous. What made you book a cruise? And she said, we just saw them loads on the telly. And I said, yeah, Mum, I'm pretty sure that was the news. They were running aground and people were dying. And my mum and dad are like, that looks lovely, sure we'll do that. But I had quite a girly relationship with my mum when I was little. Like if she got new makeup or new clothes, she'd always show me. Every single time she bought new perfume, she'd always say, do you want to smell of my new perfume? And I'd go, yes, please. And I'd go over to where she was. She'd bend down because I was only little. She'd pull her top to one side and I would inhale. And every single time she'd done a massive fart. She never told me. For years, that's what I thought Chanel No. 5 smelled like. At best, it's Chanel No. 2. But my mum is nearly 70 and she's in a wheelchair, and sometimes people are mean to her because she's in a wheelchair, which is horrible and hurts all of us, but her especially. And I was trying to think of just some small way that she could retaliate when that happens to make her feel a little bit better, you know. And I was trying to swear thing, you know, the cough swear thing. Arsehole. Trying to teach her that. Because she's always so immaculately dressed and her nails are always perfect. And I thought nobody for a second would suspect. They'd be like, did that lady just? Did she just? Arsehole. Did she just? No, look at her nails. Get her a lozenge. So we talked about it, we laughed about it, we moved on in conversation. About 10 minutes later, I talked about something entirely different. And my mum said, I had to go to the doctors this week. I said, oh, is everything all right? She said, yeah, but I had to see the nurse. I said, oh, is that not good? She said, oh, it's the one I don't really like. I said, oh, never mind. She said, yeah, you know the one I think's a bit of a cunt. What have I done? She did the cough like it was a full stop. You've been lovely. Let me leave you with this. I suppose what I'm trying to say in my show is that I'd like my life to slow down a bit. It's been very fast for the last 5 or 6 years, and it's been amazing, but I'd really like it to slow down a bit. I was very slow as a child. Not like that. I was just a dawdler. I used to take ages to do everything. I'd take ages to eat my breakfast. I'd take ages to put my clothes on. I'd take ages to walk to school. My mum was a busy mum. She had stuff to do, but she never said, come on, chop, chop, hurry up, we're going to be late. She didn't say any of those things. Instead of saying, she used to do the music from silent films. So I'd be eating my breakfast really slowly, and she'd lean right into my ear and go, diddly-dee, diddly-dee, diddly-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Just makes you naturally quick, and I don't know why. I've only once used it as an adult. You're a very smart crowd. And just so you know, it totally works. You've been lovely. Thanks very much for coming. Safe journey home, everybody. Good night.
Are you an eager beaver or a late bloomer? If you're a late bloomer like me, then my new show is just for you. Late Bloomer is available now to stream and download from my website, sarahmillican.co.uk.